Downloaded it. I just haven't used it yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Probably fuck with it today.
But then, so that dude flipped everybody. Was apparently putting his hand out the window, flipping off Alex Bowman.
Yeah.
Because he was upset that he spun out or whatever at the beginning of the race, which it was just homeboy hit the gas a little bit too much or locked up his wheels because they had to go into the chicane.
Yeah.
And so then the dude spun. I think most people were upset because the way he spun them was they were coming out of a right turn, and then you have to turn left to get onto the main speedway part. And so whenever they come out of that part, they go by the dude hits his right rear quarter panel. And he spun, and so he hit driver's side up against the wall.
Oh, okay.
And since it's driver's side, I think people were like, come on, man. That's putting him in more danger than needs to happen. Yeah. But then I'm like, well, you know how you equalize that? Homeboy threw water in his face when he's dehydrated.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
They say not to do that. You're not supposed to have water when you're dehydrated.
Oh,
or
word?
At least, if you...
I've heard you're only supposed to sip, maybe.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to
if you
drink like you're thirsty.
Yeah, you go into shock or some shit and you die. Or your body goes into shock. That's why if you take your dogs hiking and it's too hot outside and you get to a point in your hike where you stop and you give them water, if you give them cold water, they'll die. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't know, but the thing I felt bad about. This guy, he's just walking it off.
It's he's walking something off. He looked like he walked about 3 feet off the top. Moves like Cotton Hill.
Oh yeah, dude, he's waddling.
Yeah.
Cool but guy. I don't think he lost his shins in
Nam. I don't think so.
Or was it WW Nam? Did Cotton?
Yeah.
Was it Nam? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because.
But he says it's the Japanese. But then again, I guess the Japanese... No, so it would have been WW2, right?
Yeah, it was WW2. He has friends that... No, he doesn't respect people that fought in Nam.
Oh, he doesn't? Because that's some bullshit war?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's some pansy shit for the government or whatever. How he sees it. Well, not wrong.
No, I mean, well, it's definitely... Well, I mean... You would say, you could say it's a bullshit war, but then, if you're using that, pretty much every war has been a bullshit war.
Oh, yeah.
That we've, the reasons why we celebrated are probably not the reasons why it went down.
Yeah.
Because it's now everybody sits there and talks about World War II, Hitler was just so evil, we had to go after him. And it's not at all, man. Fucking Hitler and Mussolini and them were praising FDR for his New Deal. These motherfuckers were all socialist type individuals.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it's funny today that people be like, oh, the Nazis were pieces of shit. And it's they were National Socialists. They believe in a lot of the shit that you progressives believe. Mm-hmm. It's just that y'all want to, I guess, kill white people, not Jewish people.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't know what criteria y'all are using, so I think a couple Jews are going to get mixed up in that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
For sure. They're not going to fall into the Middle East.
That's why, to me, I look at all this culture shit where, people are trying to start a race war, and I'm like, I don't like this because I don't want to be on Team White people, but you're going to force me to.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be the type of person that's oh no, fuck white people, let's take them down, thinking that they're not going to eventually come for me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You got to be a realist.
Yeah, that's it. It's just if people started saying hey, let's start rounding up every black person, I don't think that fucking who? I don't even know who's a black Republican person. Somebody I can't even remember any of their names. Herman Cain. I don't think Herman Cain's gonna be I know they said they're gonna round up all black people, but not me.
Yeah,
I've been on the white man's side. It's dude, I don't think any of that shit will matter.
Yeah. Rock, you like Herman Cain? Remember that shit?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Was Herman Cain. Because was he the one that told him that he was violent and he tried to stab his mom, but he hit her belt buckle or some shit? Mm-hmm. Was that him?
Yeah, I think so.
Because there was him, and then they had another. They always have like one black guy who tries to run, and like you're always like, dude,
that guy's missing a butt.
Missing a butt?
Yeah. Like he doesn't have a butt.
Like Hank Hill?
No.
Damn, callback to just 10 minutes ago.
No, not like Hank Hill. This guy's just... He had pants. I don't know, maybe they were like low-rise pants that he was wearing up to his belly button or something.
Oh shit, maybe.
But it looked like he didn't have a butt. I was checking him out. He didn't have the goods, so I'm upset.
You think it's gonna come a point where men are gonna have to have the diaper butt to get the ladies? They're like, I don't want no flat-butted man. I want to have that badonkadonk.
I hope. That's
like
why I'm trying to gain all that weight.
Dudes would just have to spend well, I guess you either all day in there doing squats or getting filler pumped into your butt cheeks.
Well, I hear that if you do squats, you end up getting rid of your butt.
Word?
Mm-hmm. It just makes your butt all toned and like unlike what men find attractive anyways.
Well, then how are them chicks getting them big butts? Do they do a bunch of squats but then eat ass ice cream? Like literally an ass of ice cream?
Apparently, most of it is injections.
But then what about the ones that don't look fake as shit? Those are just better injections?
Maybe, but I think that squats aren't what do it. It's like I think like shit like
Kegels.
Lunges or probably. I don't know what it
Butthole
is.
kegels.
Yeah.
It's like, yo.
Oh shit, you can
that's
do
like
those.
Them girls with the big asses, they got the tightest buttholes. Like,
yeah.
They're like,
oh shit. I hope so.
They just clench it all day, every day, and it builds up those muscles, maybe.
Dude, imagine. That's
like,
a pretty cool theory.
Like,
I'm gonna keep going with that.
just
and
like,
I hope no one ever corrects me.
They just eat unhealthy, so they've got to just like take a massive dump all the time. So they're just like, if I can hold this all day, my ass will look perfect.
Oh shit! Now I don't like it. Now
but then that's why. But then I think that's also why dudes don't think women take shits. It's because they hold it.
Well, I hear women shit like once every like 4 days or something.
See, I thought it was more like a leap year type thing, like once every 4 years.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Release the floodgates.
You know, because there's days where it's like, you know, you might shit like 8 times or something. Who knows, you know? But like women, they're like, no, I'm not going to participate. So women shit like, you know, once every week or something. And you're like, oh, cool, weird, but cool, I guess. That means your butthole stays cleaner. That's cool.
Well, I mean, maybe they don't have to take a shit with all the shit they talk about all the other women that they're around.
It just
how they
spews out of their mouth.
Yeah, they just get it out.
Yeah.
In other ways.
Yeah. All that fucking terrible food comes out in terrible things that they say about others. You know what's interesting is women gossip not always for the sake of gossip, but they gossip for the fact that that's kind of like how their brains work, where they need to present an idea in verbal form, like speak it out into the air in order to hear themselves say it, in order to like learn to feel differently about it. Have you ever heard about that?
Oh, and then once they hear a woman say it, they're like, clearly that's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they come crawling back. No, that's why men go and concentrate and they think about their problems and they internalize their problems, and because they're logical and rational, they kind of calculate their problems internally. So like alone time usually works the best for them. And then women don't do that. They have a hard time doing that. So they need to go and they need to verbalize it in order to hear it, in order to reprocess it with friends and things like that, or, you know, people. And then they reprocess it like almost like they can't calculate it internally. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be externalized. That's very strange. Yeah. So that's why women like to talk so much, is because like that's what they're getting out of their system, is like that's their calibration for like how they feel about what they feel like currently. Like if they're going to change their mind, they're going to change it after they verbalize it. I eat pussy, still up there.
Yeah, it's going to be up there for the rest of our lives, hopefully.
Hopefully. But yeah, have you ever heard about people who when they close their eyes, they can't visualize things?
Mm-mm.
I have a friend that goes by Quit Rage on my Discord. His name's Mike, and he has this weird fucking thing where, like, if you tell him to close his eyes, I think this is the idea is like if you tell him to close his eyes and imagine a red star, nothing comes up. Like he can't. I don't know if it's he can't parse the image of a star or if he can't parse the color of an image or like the combination, but it's something super fucked up where like he can't visualize things like that. And apparently it's like a pretty pretty big phenomena. A lot of people can't. So that interests me. I think to myself, like, how do they ever like think things through?
Yeah.
How do you think things through? Like, what do you play images that kind of resemble almost like a video in your head? Because I do. I think of like stills and like the process of something, and it essentially is like forming into like almost like a video-esque situation. That's what you get too?
I guess so. I don't know.
Like you can visualize yourself handing money to a cashier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, easily, right?
Yeah.
Like, and like the whole motion, the interaction.
Yeah, because it's usually based off of
experience.
Past experience of you handing money to someone. Mm-hmm. So it'd be like a bunch of either you will think back to
visualize
one instance or an amalgamation of instances into that one. Because like one of the things we learned in like in drumline in school was like our instructor was deep into Tiger Woods. Mm-hmm. I wonder how he felt after the whole banging other people. But people get weird about shit like that.
Yeah, they do.
He was all about like visualization and being like, yo, these people would visualize, because like I can't remember who it was, but like there was a pitcher for a baseball team who would like before every game he would lay in bed the night before and go through every single pitch of the game in his mind and be like, okay, I'm gonna throw a fastball, blah blah, and like visualize. I would assume visualize a perfect game.
Yeah,
and because it's been like studies have shown that visualizing has an effect. Like if you,
it's almost like it would bypass the circumstance of like it being the first time you come across.
It somehow makes you feel like you've done it before.
Yeah,
like you because even if you like practice something, then you go home and you visualize playing everything out again. Mm-hmm. It's almost as if you've actually done the thing that you visualized.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like a 1-to-1 comparison,
but it helps.
But it does have an effect.
Yeah,
which is why, like, I think now I'll sit there, like, I'll but see, I sometimes get crazy because I visualize fake conversations and shit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'll like go through it, but then I think to me, I probably do that because it's a I look at things in a art of war type of thing, like, because it's a move, counter move. Like, there's a lot of things that fit into that type of thing. Like, granted, some of it also comes from martial arts, which is a legitimate, like, war type thing.
Yeah.
But I want to know what all the different variables could be in this instance.
Yeah.
So that you know how to then move. But then you're just using that as like a framework, because in most situations, it's kind of a fly by the seat of your pants thing. Like as they move, you have to move. Like you can learn a chess book, but until someone moves their piece, you're not going to know which avenues to go down next.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to be like open or available for like the dynamic interaction.
But yeah, and then a lot of time, like, but then probably most times it's me just dicking around in my own brain and entertaining myself. Of like, if I see something crazy, like if someone almost got hit by a car, I'd be like, oh, what would have happened if they got hit?
Yeah.
Or like, what kind of crazy shit would go down after that?
Yeah. Like, what would this route entail if you got to choose your own story, like a Goosebumps book?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about this? There's people. I hear the majority of women have this, and this is probably why they need to verbalize their issues. Is because they have kind of like a picturesque thought process. And what that means is that they tend to not have an internal monologue. So, like, I go around all day and I think to myself in my head, and I speak to myself.
Like, well, then who's the crazy person yelling slurs all the time in their head? Nobody?
Right?
How do you live through life like that?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have so many opinions that I don't share. You know what I mean? Like, I'm constantly judging everybody. I'm always being a dick. And I'm just, like, loving every moment of it. But, like, women tend to have less of a internal voice. So they need to verbalize in order to hear it. Which goes back to the gossip thing, you know?
See, that's where I get crazy. Because I'll usually just, like, if I'm alone, I'll just have talks with my inner voice.
Oh, dude,
you
me
just
too.
go down that rabbit hole of being like, well, it's usually just you answering your own questions.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, but you're just like, nobody's around, so I don't look crazy.
Yeah. I do it all the time. I find myself talking to myself when I'm a little bit nervous. Like, I'll speak out loud to myself. Like, if I'm by myself, obviously. Actually, no, maybe sometimes if I'm, like, in a rush or something, maybe I'll start talking to myself about, like, if I have my keys or where's my phone, etc., etc. Shit, that's, like, not a question for somebody else.
Yeah.
But, like, there might be other people around. But Adolfo does it, too. I noticed that he tends to do it in a different voice. And I think I'd do that, too. It's almost like it's not your speaking voice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost more of like a wonder voice.
How else are you supposed to keep it straight?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I use my, hey, how you doing?
you're kind of Kermit. Let me get a kind of Kermit. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting thing. Like, just that really like expands on the notion of like people not seeing things the same, or perception being kind of like your own reality, because you know, like two people like never see the same shade of color or whatever they say.
Yeah, see, that's the craziness that gets me, is like that we all see something different.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Which is why, like, I don't know.
Because it's all relatable enough for us to be like, that's red, right? But like, that's why some reds are very unattractive.
But that's
like,
why I trip out on like learning about like fourth dimensions and like fifth and sixth, and then I watched one that went all the way up to seven dimensions and how it works, and I was like, Jesus Christ!
Wasn't the show Seventh Heaven?
No, it wasn't Seventh Heaven. But it was because it was showing it based on like paper. Because like if you take a sheet of paper, you draw something on it, that's 2D. Mm-hmm. But then you can fold it in 3-dimensional space. Mm-hmm. And then like you could take us as in 3D, and then if you were standing in like a 5th dimension, you would be able to fold that in a 4th dimension. And based on that, you can get to like 11 dimensions.
Oh.
And so you're sitting there like, okay. And then like when you look at like, I guess our approximations of what a 4th dimension interacting with us, what we would see looks, you're like, oh shit. Like if there's a 4th dimension, it could like put its finger on us, but like it interacts with us in a completely different way. So like in a way that could be what God is or something. It's like someone looking at us through in the 4th or 5th dimension.
Like we're the fish in the tank.
Yeah, because like consciousness could be like the fingertips of one being or something. That's why it all connects to us, because the way it interacts on the 10th dimension might filter down into our dimension as consciousness or some crazy shit like that.
Oh my goodness.
Because like
That's
it's just
a little bit fucking crazy.
It's this thing, because like if you like took a piece of paper
Yeah.
and you drew a square,
Yeah.
and then you drew a circle inside that square, and then you drew a stick figure outside of the square,
Yeah.
from the point of view of the stick figure on the two-dimensional space, it just sees a line.
Yes.
But we
Oh.
know that there's a circle inside of a box.
Yeah.
But that stick figure will never know
Yeah.
that. Its perception throughout its life will be that that's just a line.
Oh,
So
shit.
if
the
you-
idea of the cube is not even a consideration.
No,
Yeah.
So like, but if you had a cube that you draw in like three-dimensional space in a 2D, they'll see that as like a square or something.
Yeah.
So it's all about like your perspective on things. But like if something in fourth dimension, like in the fourth dimensional space, could theoretically see what we had for lunch, because it would see a slice of us, because we would only be able to see like a
it would
slice
almost see the
of
entirety
4D.
of
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's hard for me to explain, because I can barely grasp it. You know,
Yeah.
because like you're talking about some things that's like very difficult to grasp as it'd be trying to explain three-dimensional space to a two-dimensional being.
Exactly.
Like you can kind of explain, but they're still going to have a tough time.
Yeah, it's going to be like, well,
Imagine it.
Because, it doesn't have a reference point.
Because it was like one guy showed a sphere, like if you had a fourth dimensional sphere,
Yeah.
and it passed through three-dimensional space, we would see it as like a small sphere that grows and then gets small as it passes through three-dimensional space.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a bunch of stuff like that you're like, huh, which then cuts into like, I guess, could extraterrestrials be from another dimension and all this shit? But like or could they harness that fold?
Mm-hmm.
Like, which I guess might be what wormholes or something might be, is
Yeah.
like a fold in the space-time continuum type deal. But like looking at stuff like that, I just sit there and I'm like, dude, we don't know jack shit about anything. We're just making shit up,
Dude,
trying to sound smart.
Dude, we're shopping at Ross, dude. That's what the fuck we're doing. We're just shopping at fucking Ross and worrying about shit that we'll never be able to understand. Here's my question. Like, when speaking about wormholes and shit like that, and, the concept of, like, bending space and time in order to loop back into itself, whatever. In what kind of, like, what is the perspective on the possibility, or even the notion of that possibility? Do you know what I mean? Like, how would one perceive that or even understand that happening? Do you know what I mean? Like, how would anything bend space and time into itself to create a wormhole? What even does that mean?
Well, stuff like that gets me, because it's like, okay, like we have all these theoretical
What is in
things
control of
that
it,
people like we just write off as like that's what this is. But it's theoretical, because
Yeah.
I mean, like gravity is theoretical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we just know that something pulls us down towards the ground.
Yeah.
And like we
call
have a
it
theory that it's gravity.
Yeah.
But like we don't have any real way to prove or disprove it. We
Yeah.
can just say like here's an apple, it falls to the ground, that force we're going to call gravity.
Yeah.
And we know that it pulls us down at like negative 9.8, or what is it? Negative 9 point.
You're asking the wrong person.
Is it? It's not. Is it negative 9.8 meters per second squared? Is that it?
You're gonna have to
I
ask,
haven't been
Sir
to
Isaac
physics.
Newton.
I haven't been to physics class in a while. But it's one of those things where it's so theoretical, but like who the fuck knows? But like if you saw a wormhole, because isn't that what some people speculate like a black hole might be?
Uh-huh.
If you go into that, you might come out in either a different universe or a different part of the universe or something.
Yeah.
But I'm like, who's going to be that crazy ass motherfucker to be the first one to go into a wormhole?
Yeah.
Because you don't know if you can come back.
Yeah.
So I mean, like a bunch of that theoretical stuff.
Homeless
I'm like,
people.
just
Shoot
chuck
them
them in
in
there. I mean, that'll solve it.
Yeah.